Shalom, shalom. Before we begin the lesson, all honor, praises, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakar Double honors to the apostles, elders, and teachers of Great Millstone for teaching me this 100% truth about our Lord and Savior, Yahweh Shai Mashiach, and the true reason why he's coming back, which is to save the elect remnant of the house of Israel from their enemies and those that hate them, and to take over the earth and universe, which was given to him by the mighty Yahweh himself, the Ancient of Days, wherein our Lord and Savior, Yahweh Shai Mashiach, will establish righteousness throughout the whole earth and universe forever under the kingdom of the heaven of the Israelites. Shalom Akimenakwaf. We one day closer to the kingdom. Back at you with a quick lesson and update, because that third woe is coming quickly on the worldwide stage. So let's get this. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. This is for news reporting, teaching, and educational purposes only. We got something from Dabu 7. Let's read this first, though. Revelation 11 and 14. The second woe was past, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly. Now we got information. This is Babylon the Great is finna be celebrating its 250th year of existence. This might be their last year. Hopefully it is. Right? We got two clips coming from Dabu 7, right? The first one talking about World War III, and the second one is talking about the cyber attacks that they are already blaming on Iran. Now remember now, these could be false flags, because we all know who lead the lead in cyber attacks. That would be, you know who, the 48 fakers, the small hats. So let's check this out from Dabu 7. Prepare yourselves, Israel. It's about to get ugly. Let me get this, because I said this in the lesson a while back when I was talking about Revelation. Revelation 12 and 12. No, I wouldn't. Yeah, I was talking about Revelation 12 and 7, but in my lesson I referenced Daniel 12 and 1. It's the same as in Revelation, the 12th chapter. Right? And at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince which standeth for the children of thy people. Who is it? So-called African Americans, Native Americans, and Latinos. And there shall be a time of trouble, such as was never since there was a nation, even to that same time. And at that time thy people shall be delivered, everyone that shall be found written in the book. And who is that written in the book? It's the elect, the hopefully elect. So let's check out these clips. Let me see if this will pull up. Nope. It's amazing how they take that off, but I got it again. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976 is in full effect. Shalom.
And he lays out all the reasons why. We have Ray Dalio now warning that we are in a world war. And he lays out all the reasons why. And he says we're just like a step or so away from superpower conflict head on. And he actually has produced this new book that he's talking about with the world order changing. It's called The Changing World Order. And he examines the rise and fall of empires over the past 500 years. There's some key points here, because he says we're at step 9 on the scale that goes up to just 13. And that number 9 is where multi-theater conflicts increasingly happen simultaneously around the globe. And we're seeing that with all these different countries, from Yemen to Ukraine to Iran, and everywhere that Israel goes. Number 10 is the suppression of internal dissent. Now, they can say that that's happening at any time. In Iran, that they're cracking down on the people. And then after that comes direct military combat between military powers that sit in the upper bracket. That's number 11. You're talking the superpowers, Russia, US, China. And the threat seems to be coming big time from China. And you can throw Russia in the mix as well, but right now they're really focusing in on that. He goes on to state here that this is going to affect the supply chains largely, and you're already seeing that. There's going to be a shock that the prices are rising. He also says that when you look back at World War I and World War II, that they didn't begin with like a big event. It was a series of overlapping events. Exactly what we're seeing now. I'll leave some information here so you guys can read up on all the other things he states on this. And join me for the live. Everyone should be aware of the situation here where they're saying pro-Iranian hackers have breached critical U.S. infrastructure. This isn't good at all. The advisory comes after Trump has made all these threats, and of course there's supposed to be a talk here, and it's a bunch of back and forth between Iran and the Trump administration. Now they're saying that the cyber attacks have targeted organizations within the U.S., and they have disrupted through malicious interaction, causing issues with project files, data displays, in many different organizations all across the U.S. They're saying critical infrastructure sectors have been hit, including government services and facilities, local municipalities, water, waste systems, and energy infrastructure have all been hit. They're saying that these hackers are exploiting a vulnerability in the internet-connected devices that are used to control machinery in key U.S. sectors. Now, this is major. I reported it in the past. There was a huge problem with China in this regard, and this is all tracking back to China links as well. But it had to do with our ports, because all the cranes in our ports, all the main components come from China. And they say they found hacking abilities where there was actually an apparatus in these cranes where someone could communicate with it from the outside. And that's alarming because they have no way of replacing all these cranes immediately. And even though the warning is put out and they know all this, it's like every day, at any moment, they could hack in and cause a disruption on those cranes. That's just one instance. They're now saying they're in the energy infrastructure. They don't go into specifics, but they say that this is across the board. We also know that they hit police stations in Massachusetts here recently. All the emergency services were taken out. These things are happening and people just kind of acting like nothing's going on. They're definitely in motion here. And when they start talking water, electric, I think we should pay attention. But this is the latest, and they're blaming it all on elements out of Iran. Join me for the live show where I update on this and a whole lot more Monday.